Well, we're back for second half independent off-tube studio commentary. The game at Molineux is just about to restart for the second half. Pablo Sarabia just standing over the ball. Our referee, Tony Harrington, just waiting for confirmation from all sides. 11 against 11, and we can get started. We are a few minutes behind the game at the Vitality, but actually the game at Selhurst Park had a similar amount of injury time to us, so they're just about getting ready to restart as well. And it was an interesting first half with Fulham actually having the better of the chances and having more of the attacking possession. They'll be disappointed, I think, the West Londoners, that they're not winning by the start of the second half. Wolves, for their part, had injury problems with both Bellegarde and Pedro Neto having to go off with injuries during the first half, and we'll see how that plays out into the second half. It's myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz, and Warren Ashurst taking through the action. Warren, are we expecting Wolves to step up a little bit because they were a bit flat in the first half?
I think they're going to have to, Paul, yeah. I mean, I imagine that Gary O'Neill has had quite a lot of work to do at half-time, not more so because of the two injury problems, of course, with Bellegarde and Neto going off with injuries in the first half. So Doyle and Toti have come on to replace him. So a real sort of change in mindset for Wolves, but they are going to have to change what they did in that first half, because, as you say, Fulham looked the more likely to score. I think Harry Wilson and Adebayo will both feel that they should have scored with their chances.
Well, just as we said that, Fulham are playing out from the back and they've lost the ball just in front of the rocks. It was Adebayo who's robbed of it, and now it's Toti Gomes into the penalty area, goes for a strike, he loses his balance. Wolves are asking for a penalty. It's Lemina who's down on the ground. I think he's still expecting that he was brought down. There should be a penalty. Gary O'Neill absolutely furious at the edge of his technical area there. Mario Lemina still down. We'll see what happens here. It goes to Adebayo. He gets a very heavy touch there from Adebayo. It's good work from Lemina to win it back. Ait-Nouri then jumps into the box, and when it's played back to Mario Lemina, I don't think it is a penalty. The way he hits the deck looks bad, but actually there's no foul on him there.
Well, let's give credit to Lemina first, because he did brilliantly to get the ball back off Adebayo. Then Ait-Nouri is so quick, nips in, gets into the penalty area. But when this ball comes back off towards Lemina, he goes to hit it, makes a mess of it, thinking that he's going to get caught by Adebayo, and that, to me, I don't even think there's a touch, and I think the referee's got it spot on.
That's why I think sometimes managers sort of get into the swing of things with the crowd and perhaps seeing his player hit the deck and seeing those two injuries. But Gary O'Neill, the way he reacted, it was like it was the most obvious penalty that his side weren't awarded. But having seen that replay, I think we could both safely say there was never anything for VAR to look at there. It's good work, though, from Tom Doyle to win that ball back for Wolves in midfield. It's now with Kilman. Back heel there from Lemina to pick out Ait-Nouri. He did have an option ahead of him, but he just holds on to the ball. The ball is now clipped over the top into the penalty area, but that's good work there from Bernd Leno. There might have been an offside, actually, as that ball was played through towards Ait-Nouri. Just to remind you, Jose Sarr in goal for Wolves, the back four of Nelson Semedo, Max Kilman, Santi Bueno, and Toti Gomes, who came on for Pedro Neto at just before half-time. João Gomes and Mario Lemina and Tom Doyle as the midfield three. Doyle came on for Jean-Michel Bellegarde, and then the three up front, it looks like it's Pablo Sarabia on one side, Ait-Nouri, Rayan Ait-Nouri on the other side, with Nat Fraser playing through the middle. No changes for Fulham. It's Bernd Leno in goal, a back four of Timothy Castagna, Tosin Adebayo, Calvin Bassey and Anthony Robinson, Harrison Reed and Sasa Lukic are the two holder midfielders, with Harry Wilson, Andreas Pereira and Alex Iwobi as the attacking midfield three. Rodrigo Muniz is the front man. Fulham in possession just at the edge of their own penalty area. Back to Bernd Leno. Adebayo again with a bit of a let-off there after that very heavy touch. He then plays a terrible ball cross-field straight to Pablo Sarabia, and Sarabia then wastes that opportunity himself by trying to thread a pass which deflects off a Fulham man and straight back to Leno.
I think it's fair to say it's been a scrappy start to the second half, Paul, and both teams are making silly mistakes, really. Just that incident a moment or so ago when it looked like Ait-Nouri might just have been offside. It was brave goalkeeping from Leno, who himself has not really covered himself in glory today.
Well, that's a great long ball, though, to pick out Wilson down the right-hand side, and suddenly Fulham on the attack. Wilson into the penalty area, goes for goal, and it was so close to that top corner. We criticised Wilson for using his left foot in the first half when he should have perhaps just hit it with his right. On this occasion, it's his left foot that is exactly what he needed to do. He's on the right-hand side, cuts in on his left, and it's not too far away.
When he plays with intent, Harry Wilson, he's a far better player. He knew exactly what he wanted to do there. Cut in field, let fly with his left foot. He's not more than, I would say, probably 7 or 8 inches wide of that far post. The goalkeeper looked beaten as well. It's really good play from the Wales international. And again, an indication for Wolves that they've got problems on their hands trying to keep Fulham quiet from an attacking perspective.
Yeah, they certainly do. Wilson with the effort there. Long clearance from Jose Sarr this time. But Fulham have it straight back here in midfield. That's a terrible ball, though. I think it was Castagna straight to an opposition player. And here come Wolves now with Fraser. out towards Sarabia on the right-hand side, back to Nelson Semedo, who looked like he was ready to go off at the end of the first half with an injury. He's back out for the second half, looking like everything is fine for the time being. His side have won a throw in attacking territory close to the Fulham penalty area. It's with Nelson Semedo to Sarabia, back to Nelson Semedo. Alex Iwobi does well to win the ball back, but then he backheels it straight to an opposition player. And Tom Doyle now back towards Max Kilman on the halfway line. Lemina there was brought down as he went for the ball. Harrison Reed is very animated, the Fulham captain, and there was nothing wrong with that at all. But the referee, Mr. Harrington, not only does he give the free kick Wolves' way, but he also gives a yellow card to Harrison Reed.
Well, we've not seen a replay of it yet. My initial reaction was it was definitely a foul. It's different. You go to ground these days and you don't get the ball, and you pretty much guarantee, Paul, you're going to get a yellow card.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose his argument would be that his intent was to win the ball,
yeah,
and Lemina has just sort of popped up in front of him. But then, as you say, if you're on the ground and you're sliding in, if you don't get the ball, then it leaves the referee very little option there, I think.
And we should say he didn't get the ball.
No, absolutely.
It was Lemina who got it ahead of him and flicked it round. I can understand his frustration. You know, he feels like I can almost get. He felt he was going to get the ball, and like you say, he didn't see Lemina coming from behind him. But at the end of the day, I don't think he can have too many complaints about that.
No, it's going to be a free kick to Wolves now. It's around 35 yards out, and it's left-footed ball in. It's headed on by Bassey, kept alive here at the back post by Gomes, and it's into the back of the net. And it's Wolves that take the lead on 51 minutes. Rayan Ait-Nouri from just a few yards out. Ball was over on the right-hand side of the penalty after it was flicked away by Bassey. Nobody marking Ait-Nouri, and we feared this for Fulham. They were the better side. They had the better chances in the first half, but now just 6.5 minutes into the second half, and it's Wolves to take the lead.
Well, we were praising the two centre-backs for Fulham in the first half. They were excellent, both Bassey and Adrabayo, but they've made a really poor start to the second half. Adrabayo got the ball nicked off him by Mario Lemina earlier, and this time Calvin Bassey should do so much better defending this free kick. He heads it straight into the path of Toti, who pulls the ball back, and Ait-Nouri, who we said earlier on is so important to Wolves, in the right place at the right time, and he's buried the opportunity from close range, and probably on the face of things, undeservedly, Wolves have taken the lead.
Well, they have, but what will please Gary O'Neill is that two left-footed players have both used their right foot there, haven't they? Gomes plays the ball to Ait-Nouri with his right foot, and then Ait-Nouri finishes with his right foot as well.
Well, I think that highlights, Paul, what we said with the Harry Wilson chance earlier on. It's not always better to go with your stronger foot. If it is on your weaker foot and you're a Premier League footballer, you should be taking that opportunity. And this time round, like you say, both Toti and Ait-Nouri in the right place at the right time with a weaker foot. It's a decent finish. One little note, though, for Wolves of frustration is they've got another injury problem here now. I think this might be Bueno who's gone down.
It is. Santi Bueno just picking himself up now. Let's hope there's nothing too serious with him. It's been a very busy afternoon for the Wolves physios as it is.
Might finish on Sunday, this game, the way it's going.
Absolutely. But he's back up on his feet, thankfully. It didn't take too long on this occasion. He's actually back on the field as well. So hopefully there's nothing too serious there, but some work to do now for Fulham. They were a better side in the first half. They had an excellent chance to score just a minute or two before Wolves actually did. So it's a question now of how the visitors respond.
It is, and it needs a quick response, I feel, because Wolves have got their tails up now, and I think they'll have been, like we said at half-time, sort of set out properly by Gary O'Neill, having had that chance with the two injuries in the first half to go, right, OK, this is what I want you to do. This is how we're going to set up. They've certainly started the second half brighter. As I say, though, Fulham have been a little bit sloppy at the back.
They have, but Wolves are a strong side when they take the lead. They're a strong side at home anyway. So it's going to be a tall order for Fulham now. But with 53 minutes on the clock, they've still got plenty of time. And there is a goal in this Fulham team. You do get that feeling. It's just a case of them being able to get that sort of attacking possession that they had for long spells in the first half. We'll see whether or not that goal has just given Wolves a bit more confidence. Just as I said, that's some great skills there from João Gomes, turning away from three players and almost finding Fraser with the ball down the left-hand side before Bassey gets there first and plays it back towards Bernd Leno. Adebayo now to Sasa Lukic. To Robinson on the left-hand side. Pereira with a bit of space here around about the halfway line. He needs to try and do something with this now. Pereira, he pings the ball over the top towards Muniz, who hits the deck at the edge of the area. I mean, there's a look from Muniz as if to say that he might have been brought down, but I mean, looking at it live, it didn't look like there was too much in that.
No, it didn't. I think he was playing for it a little bit because I think he realised he wasn't going to get there, but there was contact between the two. I think it might well have been Kilman who went in with him, but it was one of those. the referee was in a really good position to give it. He was about 15 yards away, looking straight at it.
I just wonder if that had been in the box. I don't think VAR would have got involved.
No.
There probably isn't enough of a push there, particularly seeing some of the pushes we've seen in the last few weeks not given as penalties.
I don't think Muniz did himself any favours by the way that he threw himself up in the air, to be honest. It made it look more dramatic than what it was.
Absolutely. It's players should be better at diving than that these days, but in any case, Fulham have won themselves a free kick, although it's a long way out from goal, but it does give them a chance to try and generate some sort of attack here. It's Pereira and Reid are standing over this one for the visitors. And Wolves have set up just at the edge of the D with their offside. At the moment, Alex Iwobi is deliberately stood in an offside position. He's going to have to get back onside to try and give his side half a chance with this free kick. It's a short ball here from Pereira. Plays it to Wilson, who then dinks the ball in towards the left-hand side of the box. Adebayo's header on, and then it drops to Lukic. He can't get a shot away. Maybe Muniz who goes for goal. He gets blocked as he was going for that one, and eventually it's cleared away. But that was a good little move, that, from Fulham.
It was well-worked free kick. Harry Wilson sent a decent ball to the back post, and Bassey won the header, and from there on in, Wolves were scrambling to try and get it clear. What I like about the Wolves backline is that they will throw themselves at it and they will make blocks. And that's exactly what they did here. Ball was flicked back by Iwobi. There was a block there by Fraser, and then when it came out again, there was another block, I think this time by Sarabia, who put himself in the way. And, you know, they're not afraid of doing that. Even the attacking players will get themselves back in there and make sure that there's not a clean shot on goal.
Really committing to the cause there, Wolves, with that last set piece. Keen to try and maintain this lead for us as long as possible, but Fulham just showing there they're still very much in this game. Not too far away from getting a shot away at Jose Sarr, but now the ball is down the right-hand side here. A bit more defending for Fulham to do as Robinson's under pressure from Sarabia. Does well to get away from Sarabia. Lukic then going square to Adebayo, but there's still 5 Wolves players here in the vicinity of the Fulham penalty area. And eventually Castagna, losing his balance, just clears the ball up towards the halfway line. Toti Gomes finding Mario Lemina. Then can't quite find a teammate with his pass, and Pereira is off for Fulham down the right-hand side. He wants a free kick and a yellow card for the opposition player. The referee wanted to play an advantage, but the ball doesn't reach Harry Wilson, so there will be a free kick for Fulham on the halfway line. There will also be a yellow card. I think, was that for João Gomes?
I wasn't sure, because João Gomes had his back to the referee when he showed him it. I think it looks like it's going to be Bueno, isn't it?
Would be Bueno, though it's actually had the foul there on Andreas Pereira. And he's now in the book. Another player who, as I say, looks like he might be an injury worry for Wolves at one stage. Fulham have taken this free kick short, though. It was on the halfway line, so there was no point in trying to send a long ball, really. And now they're trying to get something started down the left-hand side with Bassey and Robinson. Back towards Calvin Bassey. Adebayo finding Harrison Reid. And Reid over the halfway line now to Castagna. Options here for Fulham, but Wolves got plenty of players back here. Pereira now finding Wilson, who is in a little bit more space, tries to thread a ball through towards Muniz, but it doesn't quite reach him. And it's Ait-Nouri now trying to bring the ball out for Wolves, and he does. He finds Lemina, who's away and into the Fulham half, and then he threads the ball through to Fraser, and Fraser does get there ahead of Bernd Leno, but he didn't have enough space or time to actually go round the keeper, so he strikes it straight at him. Leno makes a decent save, and he's got a bit of an injury for his troubles as well. He was
slightly overhit the pass from Lemina. I think he was offside. I think he would have been, if it had gone in, VAR would have probably ruled that out. I think the ball's gone behind for a corner. Meanwhile, it'll be interesting to see whether the corner stands or not. It was a right idea from Lemina, just a little bit too heavy, and like you say, Paul, he was almost in his face, Leno, when Fraser got to the ball. There's not much else he could have done with it, and the keeper made a decent save.
Well, the corner kick is going to be taken, so they obviously felt as though there was no offside there, or VAR you would have thought would have made something about that, but it's an outswinging corner from Sarabia. It's a flat ball as well onto the head of Max Kilman. He actually had a bit of time to measure that one, Kilman, but his header goes wide. Yeah,
frustrating in the end for Wolves that they didn't make more of that opportunity, but just looking actually at the bench for Fulham today, and the number of attacking options. I mean, I know Cairney really is a midfielder, but he can be an attacking midfielder. Adama Traore, D. Cordova-Reid, Willian, all on the bench today. You know, there are plenty of options there for Marco Silva if needs be. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him make a change in the next sort of 5 or 10 minutes.
What's happened to Broja as well? I mean, the whole point of Fulham signing him was to give him some game time. Yeah. Chelsea wanted Broja to get some game time as well. and he's hardly had any kind of impact at all.
He barely played, has he? And yeah, it's a strange one. And it does make you think he did so well during his loan spell with Southampton before that you just thought that he might be a player that, you know, has something really to offer Fulham, but he's barely featured.
Well, since he's arrived at Fulham, he's had 37 minutes on the pitch, and that's spread across 3 appearances as well. So he really has been a very scant time for Armando Broja as Willian is getting ready to come on. And so just trying to see, was that Tom Cairney?
I think it was Cairney as well, yeah.
So Willian and Cairney. So it's obviously midfield and attacking midfield where Marco Silva feels that he needs to make the change. Here come Wolves now, though, down the right-hand side. Sarabia just showing a bit too much of that to Robinson. And it's out for a throw to the home side. Sarabia leaving this one now for Nelson Semedo. Looking at the Premier League, no changes. It's still Bournemouth 0, Sheffield United 1. It's still Palace 1, Luton 0 in the other 2 games.
They're going to make those changes now, I think, aren't they?
Yes, they are. So it's Willian and Tom Cairney getting ready to come on. Just wait and see who.
I would think maybe Iwobi. I bet he's barely had a kick. The first change is going to be Harrison Reed, maybe because he's on a yellow card. I would imagine that's a like-for-like swap for Tom Cairney. In my opinion, I would have thought Alex Iwobi, who's barely had a kick in the second half, would be the option to.
And also,
replace.
Willian does tend to play on that left, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Where Iwobi has been positioned this afternoon. That would make sense. Harrison Reed goes off and also leaves the captain's armband for the player replacing. It's Andreas Pereira who's going off, and he's
not happy.
Not happy. and I have to say, you know, that wouldn't have been the first player, just because I think with Andreas Pereira, there's always more chance of him doing something out of nothing, whereas Iwobi, I mean, Iwobi's a very skillful player as well, but whether or not he has that sort of that shot or that crossfield pass in him that Fulham might need at one point, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking now. Iwobi's gone into that central position where Pereira was, so Willian will come out to the left-hand side.
But
like
I mean, does Marco Silva honestly think that even in half an hour of play that Iwobi's a better number 10 than Pereira? Because I wouldn't have said.
I wouldn't have said so either, and I just think it's a strange one. Like you say, when he gets in the final third, Pereira, that's when things start to come alive, and he showed enough in that first half to suggest that he could, you know, be a key to Fulham getting back in this game. But, well, Marco Silva obviously knows his players and believes that that's the best way to go, but it is an interesting change.
Well, he's given Willian certainly plenty of time to get into this game. William and Cairney coming on just after the half. We're at 62 minutes now, unofficial independent off-tube studio commentary, where Fulham trailing here at Molineux by a goal to 0. A goal from Rayan Ait-Nouri after 51 minutes. Bouncing ball now on the halfway line, just won't sit up for Nat Fraser, and a chance now for Alex Iwobi in this new number 10 roll out towards the left-hand side. Here is Willian, overlap from Robinson. Robinson gets to the byline, puts a cross in, which is just a bit too high for Wilson and a bit too far away from Iwobi. And now it's Mario Lemina. I just wonder, is it Lemina that's been told to play a little bit more further forward? Because he seems to be playing in almost like a number 10 for Wolves now.
Yeah, that looks like a difference, doesn't it, from the first half? He is certainly further forward as things stand at the moment, and interesting to see how that progresses. I mean, he obviously had a role to play in almost setting up a goal in the very early stage of the second half, taking the ball off Adebayo. He's got the ability to be able to do that, but it's not a position necessarily in terms of as far forward as he's been that we've seen him on a number of occasions.
So certainly Lemina just giving that a bit more of a free roll, as we're getting a word of a potential second goal at the Vitality as well. We'll let you know about that in just a moment, but that could certainly shake things up down the bottom, or at least make things a little bit more interesting for the sides down there. As William now on the left-hand side for Fulham, back towards Robinson. Bassey now to Adebayo. As Wolves have been forced just a little bit further back. In the first half, we saw them trying to really squeeze at Fulham. Fulham were doing the same, of course, when Wolves were in possession, but now this is good work from Iwobi, breaking into the penalty area down the right-hand side. He gets stopped, and the loose ball doesn't quite reach Wilson. There's an appeal from Wolves that Wilson might have left a foot in on arrival there as well, but for the time being, the referee's allowed play to go on, and it's Lemina charging down the left-hand side, gets the ball into the box, and it's not too far away from picking out Nat Fraser, but Leno is there to make the save.
Yeah, I just wonder whether the Wolves player who got caught there is still down. In fact, he's not. It's back up. It was Toti who got caught by Harry Wilson. You mentioned there, Paul, a couple of them weren't particularly happy with the challenge, but Wilson's in possession now.
He is, and he gets all the way to the penalty area. Finds Iwobi, who plays a pass straight back to Wilson. That was instinctive. I don't think he needed to do that, Iwobi. He had enough space to try and use the ball himself, and also Wilson was well marked.
He was. It wasn't the best of decisions from Iwobi, put it that way, but Fulham have done well. Well, they had done well, and then Willian's given it straight back to Wolves.
He has, but then that ball from Sarabia is hopeful rather than direct to Nat Fraser. Easily mopped up here by Tosin Adarabioyo. I can tell you that Jack Robinson has made it Bournemouth 0, Sheffield United 2. So just when it looked as though it was becoming close to mathematically impossible for Sheffield United, they're starting to try and pick up some points.
Well, that is a coupon buster if ever there was one today, isn't it? Bournemouth at home, as you mentioned earlier, a penalty in the early stages which they missed, and Sheffield United have made them pay for now.
They have, but here come Fulham. They really are enjoying a lot more possession now in these last few minutes, Fulham, but still not doing anything to really test Jose Sarr. Now they're going to try with Willian down the left-hand side. Threads a ball in towards Cairney, who had very little space to work. He does well, though, Cairney, to keep his side in possession. Now it's with Willian again. Back towards Calvin Bassey, who's joined this attack. His cross into the penalty area is headed away by Toti Gomes, but it should still stay in play here for Ait-Nouri, who then fires the ball towards Mario Lemina, who's able to get the ball away from Lukic, but then he runs into Lukic, saying that he might have been fouled by the Fulham man. The referee disagrees, but it is going to be a throw to Wolves.
It is, and they will look to try and probably just slow the pace down a little bit, because Fulham, since Wolves took the lead, have had the lion's share of possession and have started to look dangerous again going forward. Just, I suppose the lack of impact from Willian will be a bit of a concern. So I think he touched the ball once and he gave it away to Wolves and set them on a counter-attack.
He did. I mean, he's always had that creativity about his game, Willian, of course, but you just wonder whether or not he's somebody who could do it consistently now.
I often think as well he's one of those players that if you're going to get the best out of him, you probably start him. Coming off the bench is not necessarily what I always remember him as. He's
not really that sort of impact sub, is he, Willie? I mean, we'll just break off from that, because here come Wolves now with a lovely threaded ball into the penalty area. After a deflection, it may drop into João Gomes. Gomes wants a touch and then sets it up for Nelson Semedo. The deflection on the way, and it's into the back of the net. So Wolves are 2-0 up on 67 minutes. There's a little bit of luck about the way that goal finds the net. But real frustration for Fulham, because they just had a spell of attack themselves.
Yeah, they had. But as you mentioned earlier on, Paul, about manager of the season this year, Gary O'Neill has put another tick in the box for him so far today, because he's really done a good job at half-time here. They've got Wolves far more organised after those two injuries, of course, in the first half to Bellegarde and Neto, key players. And now, yes, granted, it's a deflection, but the build-up play was good. And as it fell to Semedo, the fact that he bust a gut really to get up towards the edge of the penalty area, he needs a lot of credit. Great play down the left-hand side originally. The ball threaded through towards Fraser. He cut it back. It looked like Sarabia was going to hit it. Lovely back heel to Semedo, but it did get a big deflection. Leno was going to save it. He's going in one direction. The ball goes in the other. And now it's a massive mountain for Fulham to climb.
It was. It's a very clever little back heel there from João Gomes. But then when you see the strike from Semedo, Leno could stop that with his feet if it wasn't for the deflection. It completely changed direction. I think, has it come off Cairney in the end?
I think it might have done. It's just looking to get Tom Cairney.
Yeah.
It's actually his rear end.
It has
struck on the way through.
And it has changed direction completely, and that's wrong-footed Leno. I was going to tell you that there was a goal at the Vitality, but they're now talking about a potential offside. And
it's been ruled out.
It has been ruled out. So Solanke had scored, but the VAR have decided there's an offside now. There's a VAR check in our game as well, because potentially when this pass is played through to Mario Lemina...
Oh, I think he's all right.
Oh, wait, it doesn't go to Lemina, does it?
No, I think it was tight.
For Fraser, yeah.
Yeah, but I think he's just onside. Now, they're looking at something else here in terms of whether it hit Ait-Nouri's foot as it went through, which, again... I mean, you're looking at minute, minuscule things. And I just think why you're looking at that. The fact that they've rolled it on now makes me think it's going to stand.
I do as well. But this amount of time that VAR takes is
ridiculous.
Doing a Champions League game this week, and they had that sort of the actual 3D graphic showing which part of the body was offside. That was up in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But now confirmation referee has pointed towards the centre circle, and the goal has been given. So no offside against Nat Fraser. Wolves are now 2-0 up. We're at 69 minutes, and it'll be Warren to take us through to full time.
Thanks very much, Paul. I would have been, if I was Gary O'Neill, I'd have been fuming if that goal had been ruled out. I have to admit, it would have been ridiculously tight. There's going to be another change here now, and looks to me like Lukic is coming off. Sasa Lukic will be one of them, and João Palhinha is coming on to replace him. Slightly surprised he didn't start.
I was about to say, I mean, unless he's injured or a complete drop-off in form, then Palhinha, I mean, it seems pretty obvious he's going to leave at the end of this season, because there's been talking about it since the start of the season, really. Another change, by the way, is Adama Traore. He's on the field now.
He is. He's replaced Harry Wilson.
So
Wilson's gone off, and Adama Traore on against his former club.
I would have said that of the three attacking midfielders today, Wilson, Pereira and Iwobi's probably had the quietest game of the three, and he's the only one left on the field.
I would agree. I think maybe just because he's changed position, they've decided to keep him on the pitch. But Wilson's gone off and Traore on, as I say, and João Palhinha is the other man who has entered the fray. And, having watched Fulham a couple of times this season, including that draw at Arsenal earlier in the campaign, Palhinha was excellent that day, and I'm really surprised that he didn't start. Like you say, Paul, it might just be because he's had a bit of a knock. They've decided not to risk him from the start, but he is now on the field, and we shall see whether his arrival will make any difference to Fulham, who need to get back in this game with 20 minutes of normal time left to go, plus stoppages. They find themselves 2 goals down, goals in the second half from Ait-Nouri and Semedo. Do you think he'll be given that goal? I mean, the shot was on target. It clearly wasn't going in, but...
Well, that's sort of gone to and fro over the last few years, the rules in terms of the dubious goals panel and whether a shot on target is enough to give it. And I think it just depends on the deflection itself. But I think because his effort was going on target, even though I'm convinced that Leno would have saved it without the deflection.
Well, I don't think Cairney will want it, put it that way, if they offered it. I think... Yeah, we'll give it to Semedo for now because at least the shot was on target. Here's Willian, meanwhile, down the left-hand side for Fulham, faced up by 2 Wolves players, goes further down the left to Anthony Robinson. Back into Willian again, who's crowded out again by 2 Wolves players. He's still going at it, the former Chelsea man, and then the ball looked like it came off Willian's foot last, and the referee said it did, and it will be a throw-in to the home team. Marco Silva chirping onto the linesman at the moment, clearly not happy with that decision, but I think it was the right call, to be honest with you, as the ball is back now with Semedo, hoists it forward. Lemina will chase this, and Bassey just got to it and then flicked it back to Adrabayo, who cleared. Adrabayo again having to head it clear, only as far as Ait-Nouri inside the centre circle. Arguably one of the best things that happened to Wolves was having to push Lemina and Ait-Nouri further forward because they've caused trouble all day.
They have. Lemina's looked a different player in this second half, and a strong challenge there in midfield, and the referee has got his card out. The Fulham players were convinced that this was a clean challenge on Pablo Sarabia, but the referee deciding that was a foul and a yellow card for João Palhinha.
Yeah, I'm interested to see the replay again here. Fulham were up in arms straight away, but they were up in arms about that Harrison Reed tackle earlier on. It's one of those, he gets the ball. Does he get the ball? It looked to me as though he did.
It's a fraction of a second as to whether he gets the ball or the man first, but...
You can't slide in like that these days. You're just not allowed to do it.
You can't, as I say, and it's not João Palhinha's first Premier League game. He knows that's the sort of thing. And as I always say, as a comparison, if someone did that to him, he'd expect a free kick.
As a manager, I'm quite happy to see that, though. I want to see him making a real effort to make an impact in the game. But
he wants to show the manager that he should be starting every game because on paper he should be, really.
He should. It's going to be a free kick to Wolves just inside the Fulham half, taken short by Doyle. Plays it out wide to Toti, round the corner, good little ball, again up towards Fraser, and now on the left-hand side with Ait-Nouri. Ait-Nouri's going to take on Adrabayo, still got it for the moment, but Tosin Adrabayo does well to flick it clear, and then that's surely a free kick. It is. The Fulham man was brought down on the far side by Toti. Castagna complains that should be a yellow card as well. It's got to just get on with it. They need a goal from somewhere.
They do, yeah. I think sometimes players get a little bit bogged down with this but that should be a booking. We should have had a free kick for this and this. Just distracts them, I think. Unless it's something that players use as a sort of rocket fuel to just get a little bit more sort of animated, potentially. That might be something to do with it as well.
Yeah.
But I agree that the Fulham have got enough problems without worrying about what the referee's doing as well.
Bournemouth have pulled the goal back, seemingly, although we'll wait for the time being because they did have one call ruled out from VAR earlier. Ouattara looks like he might well have narrowed the deficit to 2-1 in favour of Sheffield United, as Cairney plays it back now towards Adrabayo, who plays it along the back line further to Castagna. Back to Adrabayo again, midway inside the Fulham half. Again, every Wolves player is behind the ball. It's a good ball to this near side, though, to find Robinson, who cuts in field. Back to Bassey, now to Willian down the left-hand side. He's closed down quickly by Semedo. Turns it round the corner towards Palhinha. Almost got it back there from Anthony Robinson, but well read by Doyle, who tried to play a ball over the top, but there isn't enough on it for his teammate to get there. And Sarabia has to force Bassey to play it back to his goalkeeper. Just wonder whether Fulham, when you think about where we're at in the season and where Fulham are in the table, Paul, whether they've got enough desire to get back into this game 2-0 down, because let's face it, they're not going to get into Europe. They're not going to be dragged into a relegation battle. Is it that mindset now which might get in the way?
Well, I mean, if I was a Fulham fan, and as you know what, I'm certainly not, but if I was a Fulham fan, I would like to think that one thing they can try and do is finish above Chelsea, which they currently are only a place behind Chelsea. That would be something that they could certainly look for as a bit of an incentive, as Willian trying to get a ball in from the left-hand side, and it's just not going Fulham's way today. Iwobi challenged inside the 6-yard box. He thought it had come off a defender. The referee points to the 6-yard box. It will just be a goal kick. It
will indeed. More frustration from Fulham. And Wolves fans watching on, happy seeing their side in front again. As we mentioned earlier on in the game, they've got that FA Cup quarter-final clash to come against Coventry, of course, at Molineux next week. No disrespect to Coventry, who, incidentally, I think are leading in their championship game at Watford. They are today, and still in with a chance of the playoffs this season, but you'd expect Wolves to come out on top. This victory would see Wolves move up to 8th in the table, by the way. Fulham would be in 12th as things stand, as the Cottagers just keep possession at the moment at the back with Calvin Bassey. Again to fullback it goes, and Anthony Robinson. Willian further to his left-hand side. Robinson goes on the overlap. Willian just slows things down a little bit and comes in field. And then eventually he does have to give it to Robinson out wide on the left. Wolves have got players back though now. Robinson lost where the ball was for a moment, and then it came off him last, and it was good pag tracking by João Gomes to enable Wolves to win a throw-in. And now, about 40 minutes later than he was supposed to come on, Matt Doherty is going to enter the fray very shortly. And just waiting to see who it is who's going to come off. It looks like Fraser's numbers come up, hasn't it?
It has, yes. So again, more sort of reshuffling here for Wolves, because clearly Matt Doherty, the right back, right midfielder, isn't going to play up front. So what this is going to mean is, I'm just trying to see, of all the forward players left, I mean, he's got a note in his hand there, Doherty, to give to one of the players just to have a quick read of what the manager wants.
I'd love it if he handed them the note and he opened up and just went up front. You're going up front.
Whenever I see that, it always reminds me of, I think it was Ross Wallace playing for Sheffield Wednesday years ago.
Yes,
who saw an opposition player do that and just quickly took the note, read it himself, and then gave it back to him, which obviously you can't stop him from doing.
I've actually seen abroad players eating the paper to make sure that nobody else saw it. So, it will be interesting to see what's written on it. Either way, the change has been made, and not surprisingly, Matt Doherty hasn't gone up front. Here's Ait-Nouri, meanwhile, in an attacking position. He was away down the right-hand side. He's been held up for the moment, and in fact, he's been tripped up. And the referee just having a word with Tom Cairney here. João Palhinha's already been booked, and he looked like the man who may well have brought him down. I think the Wolves players were well aware of that, Paul, and they were surrounding the referee.
Yeah, I think they were. That's probably why João Palhinha is getting so angry, because I can't believe he'd be getting any lip to the referee. We'll see here. Oh, that is an awful challenge when you've already been booked.
I mean, I tell you what.
That the way he comes in, I mean,
he's lucky he didn't catch him.
He didn't catch him, you're right. He sort of stabbed the turf just in front of the ball, and Ait-Nouri sort of then gone into him. So you would argue that it's more of an obstruction than an actual aggressive foul, but he's very lucky there, João Palhinha.
He's a very angry man today, João Palhinha. He's got a look on his face as if to say, I'm not happy at all. Free kick in towards the back post. Oh, it's almost an opportunity on the volley for Wolves, but Calvin Bassey got back well to knob the ball behind for a corner. Yeah. I think it was Max Kilman who was waiting to volley it.
It was Kilman that was waiting to get on the end of that. Really good header there from Bassey. Well, you mentioned about João Palhinha not looking happy. It's the easiest way for a player to show his discontent at a football club is to get a pointless red card, and it may well be that João Palhinha is spoiling for one.
Exactly. My eyes lit up there as well. Max Kilman's in my fantasy league team, and as I saw the ball come over, I'm thinking he's going to volley this. It's going to be a corner kick to be taken on the far side, left-footed, swung in deep towards the back post. Doherty's going to try and win the header. In fact, it's gone out and come back in again, the set piece. Yeah. It's always a frustration, that.
Out-swinging too much there, isn't it? And it does amaze me how often teams get that wrong. But now Fulham are going to make their fifth and final change, and it is going to be Armando Broja coming on for 11 minutes towards the end of the match.
It is. Running out of room here for all these Fulham changes on my sheet. Interesting to see who's going to come off. Is it going to be Molineux? No, it doesn't. Oh, is it?
No, it's Castagna.
No, Castagna's coming off.
Castagna, so Iwobi survives the hook once again.
It does.
And Armando Broja is on the field. Though I say that, it may well be that Iwobi's asked to play at right back now.
But yeah, potentially. It could be his third different position of the game as things stand. Broja is on, though. I don't quite believe when Paul mentioned earlier on that he's had like 32 minutes of action
In 3 games.
Across 3 games so far for Fulham. Really needs to start making a name for himself in order to become a regular at this Premier League level. Here he is now trying to make an impact as well to brush off Kilman, and is now bursting towards the edge of the penalty area. Bro's still going. He's almost inside the penalty box. He now is run out of room, doesn't know what to do. Leaves it short to Iwobi. Iwobi on the right-hand side now, faced up. Plays it back to Paulinho. Deep cross to the back post. It's probably too deep. Willian will keep it in play, though, on this left-hand side. Faced up by Semedo. Willian needs some support. Instead, he dinks across to the back post. Up go the heads. Oh, and it's a great save from Jose Sarr. And then it's off the line to deny Fulham a goal back with around about 10 minutes left to go. And Wolves have been able to run it clear. We'll get a replay of that in a moment and try and explain everything that went on. But Willian put across to the back post. The header was a good save from point-blank range from Jose Sarr. And then as it came back out, another header goalwards was cleared off the line. A combination, I think, of Bueno and Sarr got it clear, and Wolves breathe a huge sigh of relief.
They do. That's the closest that Fulham have come in this second half without any doubt, and it's a great save from Sarr. And as you say, a combination of Sarr and his defender to try and stop the ball crossing the line.
Yeah, we'll get a replay in a moment. The ball's not gone out of play since that. Semedo does well to keep it in here under immense pressure, and in fact, I think the linesman has said it had gone out before Semedo got there. Now, the referee is coming over to the touchline here to give a yellow card. I think this is Marco Silva. I think he's had a little bit too much to say here.
Well, the referee is calling over someone, and
he's had 2 yellow cards.
2 yellow cards.
I think Castagna might have been one of them.
Well, is it Boa Morte? Boa Morte is the Fulham assistant manager.
Not entirely sure what's gone on there. We'll try and clear that up if we can, but I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. Boa Morte has been yellow carded. That's been confirmed. But he definitely showed 2 people a yellow card.
I think it was one person from the other bench
as well.
I
thought so. You look to aim it towards the Wolves bench as Adebayo gets away with that. Almost had it intercepted. That's good play, though, from Toti, who I think has done pretty well since coming on as a sub.
He has. He's looked comfortable in that left-back position. He's had a lot of starts this season as well, but here come Fulham now. Yeah,
good run here. Again from Fulham, an opportunity on the edge of the box. Great save again from Jose Sarr, diving to his right-hand side. The shot came in from Adama Traore. Fist across from Willian, and then on the stretch, Wolves get bodies in the way again, and Iwobi couldn't bring it down in the area, and Ait-Nouri smashes it clear. Again, Jose Sarr showing just what a good goalkeeper he is as Wolves look to try and break at the other end. But in the end, he's brought down is Lemina. It's going to be a free kick to Wolves on the halfway line, but they've escaped twice in the last couple of minutes.
They have, and there's been so much action. We've not really had a chance to see either of these replays yet, but now we're seeing the second chance that Fulham had. A blasting shot there from Adama Traore, well saved by Jose Sarr, and that ball stood up by Willian before the keeper forced to make another. So now we're seeing the second chance. They sort of they've shown us the first chance, second, where Sarr makes the initial save.
It was Muniz twice, I think,
and
then it was off the line, wasn't it?
And it was Kilman alongside his goalkeeper that got the clearance in.
Yeah, really good defending from Max Kilman, and 2 really good saves as well from Jose Sarr. Means that Wolves maintain their 2-goal advantage. Elsewhere, by the way, still Bournemouth 1, Sheffield United 2, and Crystal Palace 1, Luton 0, as Doyle plays the ball over the top for Wolves on that left-hand side. Trying to play for a throw-in. Iwobi does well to keep it in play. And now Adama Traore will fire it forward towards Broha. Broha, under pressure, does get the ball back to Iwobi, and then he gives it away. And Ait-Nouri in a central position runs towards the edge of the area, slips as he went to hit it, and it loops into the arms of Leno. It's like Ait-Nouri must be playing in about his 3rd or 4th position today as well.
Yeah, it's turning into sort of a training game now, isn't it, with everyone sort of being asked to do a new role for a few minutes. But it's actually a very exciting end to this game because Fulham are still fighting here.
They are. Semedo, under pressure, hooks it over his head, away from Willian. Cairney keeps it in play, but Toti Gomes, who I think has been quietly effective for Wolves today, does well and gets the ball away from him. But it will be a Fulham throw-in on this near side. Taken now by Anthony Robinson. João Palhinha plays it back towards Calvin Bassey. We've got around about 6.5 minutes of normal time left to go. So if Fulham were to get a goal in the next couple of minutes, we'll be set for a grandstand finish at Molineux with Adama Traore against his former club. Plays it out wide now to Alex Iwobi. Needs somebody to make a run for him because he's got no options at the moment. He makes a burst forward, plays the ball in the box, and the volley came in from Broha in the end, and he doesn't quite connect with it. In fact, it was Muniz who was there, and although he got a boot to it, he didn't connect, but he got a deflection. It's going to be a corner.
Consolation is for Fulham to say that the effort from Muniz was never going to trouble the goalkeeper, but there was a defender just in line with that. And Fulham need to use this set piece, because you can see Wolves are just starting to feel the pressure now. Fulham really are starting to turn the screw.
They are indeed, as the corner's going to be taken by Willian on the near side. What's the delivery going to be like from the former Chelsea man? Ball in towards the area, headed up in the air by João Palhinha. It's going to come to the edge of the box, and then Adama Traore tried a first-time volley, and although he struck it well, it's gone way over the crossbar.
He has, but that probably sums up how Traore played at Wolves as well. That he's got all the talent, all the strength and all the speed, but not really too much end product.
No, unfortunately from a Fulham perspective, Jose Sarr's gone down now, holding his head. I don't know whether, I'm not sure whether this is just like almost like a dizzy spell that he's had and he's gone to the floor. Didn't see anything happen really.
There wasn't anything in that last move, was there? I mean, he wasn't particularly. I'm just looking at. I mean, have Wolves made 3 substitutions at 3 separate times? If they have done, because Doherty came on as a separate sub, so did Doyle, and so did Toti Gomes.
I don't think they were at the same. They were all separate times, weren't they? So
unless this is a head injury for Jose Sarr, a concussion injury, then potentially.
I think it might be. They're working on him sort of neck upwards at the moment. I'm not sure whether he's. I wonder whether he actually kind of strained his neck muscle when he made the save earlier on, that reaction save, and that he's maybe feeling the pain of it now. But the physios are out at the moment, trying to do some work on Jose Sarr to get him through the remainder of this match. I can tell you, by the way, that there are no further goals to tell you about in the other 2 Premier League games. Don't forget, of course, we'll have unofficial off-tube studio commentary of Arsenal against Brentford from 5:30 this evening as well. And will be an interesting game at the Emirates. I can tell you, in the Championship, in the battle to get into the Premier League, it's Hull 2, Leicester 2, and Southampton 4, Sunderland 2 at the moment. So
Southampton were 2-0 up in that game. Sunderland pegged them back to 2-2. But yes,
and all the pressure on Leicester as things stand at the minute.
Yeah, Leicester has just started to fall away. Leeds, of course, winning in the Friday night game against Sheffield Wednesday last night. Ipswich losing in injury time away to Cardiff in the earlier game today.
As things stand, Leicester will be top on 82 points, just 3 points ahead of Leeds in second, and a further point back to Ipswich in third, and then Southampton in fourth will be on 73 from 36 games, of course, one less because of that fire that was near the St Mary's Stadium in midweek.
Right, it was a game against Preston that couldn't go ahead, so Southampton have still got that game to come. Just getting replays now of they're showing us the second goal here now, aren't they, again? But still can't quite work out why Jose Sarr was in as much trouble as he was. But it looks like they've been able to get everything done on the field, and he should be able to stay on.
Just going back to that second goal for Wolves, it was fortunate, the deflection, but it was really good play from João Gomes, wasn't it? He was going down a blind alley, and I think he took 3 Fulham players out of the game with that back heel towards Semedo. As the ball swung in now towards the Fulham penalty area, Adebayo hooks it clear, only as far as Doherty, who leaves it for Doyle. Now João Gomes almost squeezed it through. João Gomes does well to win it back temporarily off Iwobi. And now Ait-Nouri will secure possession for Wolves. Gets it back off Semedo down the right-hand side. Ait-Nouri needs somebody to make a burst here. He's attempting crosses, deflected up in the air. Great touch from João Palhinha to bring it down stone dead and find Iwobi. And now he sets Broha away down the right-hand side. Good defending from Kilman, who's across quickly to slide the ball out of play. We've got 2 minutes of normal time left to go. What are you thinking added on time? What's your prediction, Paul?
I would say probably somewhere in the 4 to 5 minute mark. But
yeah, I would even maybe go 6. I think there's probably been a bit of time.
We did have a bit of a VAR check for the second goal. Just on the subject of that second goal, looking at 2 different score update pages. One of them has it as a Semedo goal. The other one has it as a Cairney own goal.
Yeah, it's very difficult to say one way or another. As I'm sure the dubious goals panel would make the decision on that. I'm not sure whether that still exists now.
I'm not sure. They might not have that name anymore, but of course, in terms of fantasy football, in terms of bets as well, of course, it is important to actually establish officially who scored that goal.
It is indeed. Here's the ball switched brilliantly by Lemina towards Ait-Nouri on this right-hand side. Back towards Semedo. We'll be hoping that goal is given in his name. He's going to have a run now. Willian does well to hold him up. Knocks the ball out of play, but Wolves won't matter too much because it'll run down the clock a little bit more, and they have a throw-in in line with the edge of the Fulham penalty area.
20 efforts on goal from Fulham. That's impressive for an away team, and 5 of them on target. Just 6 efforts from Wolves, 3 of them on target. 1 of them was deflected, and they're 2-0 up.
But similar to Everton earlier, who I think had 15 attempts on goal today.
And they had
no goals.
And they had, I think, for the first half of the second half, they had 60 to 40 possession against Man United.
They did, yeah. And again, no goals. By the way, that other yellow card went to Sean Derry on the Wolves bench earlier on. It came up on the screen in front of us. So Boamorte and Derry were clearly having something to say to each other, and both of them were yellow carded.
Yeah, but certainly neither of them was a stranger to a yellow card when they were
just
players as well.
That, yeah. Maybe felt left out that they hadn't had a yellow for a while, as Wolves have won a free kick now down by the corner flag on this near side. Ait-Nouri, Anthony Robinson thought it had gone out of play. Ait-Nouri had kept it right on the line, and then the American international tripped the Wolves man, and it will be a free kick to Wolves are in no hurry to take.
Great news for Wolves. A free kick right in the corner of the pitch. Get a few players up, discuss where we're going to put this ball into the box. It's ticking down seconds that Wolves are quite happy to lose, and Fulham are desperate to try and save.
Free kick to be taken on this near side. It looks to me as though it's going to be taken left. 8 minutes. Well,
yeah.
we thought probably 6, but they've decided to add 8 minutes on, so there's still time for Fulham here now. It's going to be taken left-footed by João Gomes, this free kick. It's headed away at the near post by Calvin Bassey. Flicked further clear by Iwobi. Decent header on by Muniz. Oh, and then it's left between Broha and Muniz, and we'll say thank you very much. We'll have that back until Anthony Robinson wins it at left back, and now in towards Willian. We'll bring you details of another goal in the Premier League in a moment. That's a lovely sprayed pass from Willian out to Iwobi on the right hand side. He's going to run here at Toti, sends a deep ball in. It's way over hit, and it's going to drift behind for a goal kick. Where's the goal come elsewhere, Paul?
It's at the Vitality Warren, where Bournemouth have equalised against Sheffield United as they head into injury time there, and it's the Turkish midfielder Enes Ünal that's made it 2-2.
2-2 at the Vitality Stadium. 2-0 in our featured game here. Still Crystal Palace 1, Luton 0. That's Jean-Philippe Mateta goal separating the two sides at Selhurst Park.
Just to tell you, there's 6 minutes of added time at Selhurst Park, so there's still a little bit of time there, but looks like a precious 3 points there for Crystal Palace.
Yeah, and a hammer blow to Luton, who will have seen Everton lose earlier on, and Sheffield United being pegged back as Jose Sarr launches this goal kick long downfield, headed on by Doherty towards Doyle, then flicked over the top by João Gomes. Lemina has left it here for Doherty to pick up instead. He'll play it back towards Doyle. There's no hurry for Wolves to get this ball in around the area because they want to try and wind down the clock as much as they can. João Gomes out wide to Doyle, back to João Gomes again. This is good play from Wolves, keeping possession well, and Doyle's done well to keep it in on the far side. Lemina and Ait-Nouri waiting for the cross. In it comes, headed away by Bassey to João Gomes on the edge of the area. Thought about a shot, instead he's held on to it. Plays it back to Doyle. Doyle will let fly. It was way over the bar in the end, but actually, if you're going to have a shot, make sure it goes in the crowd.
Yes, absolutely. I think that from Doyle's point of view, would have liked to have got underneath that one a little bit better, just to try and really test the goalkeeper. But it was a good little spell, as you mentioned there, a good spell of Wolves just keeping possession, and then it's just more seconds ticking down here. But as it stands, Fulham are now trying to get forward down the left-hand side. Yeah,
around about 6 minutes of added on time left to go in this game at Molineux. Wolves 2, Fulham 0 is the latest score. And the goals, just to remind you, coming in the second half, one from Rayan Ait-Nouri, the other a deflected effort from Nelson Semedo. At the moment, Wolves look relatively comfortable. Fulham have had their chances in this game, though, and will feel that they should have got something out of it, certainly in the first half, as Willian plays the ball back towards halfway. And now João Palhinha out further to that right-hand side, and an opportunity for Fulham with Cairney to maybe get a ball in. Instead, he leaves it for Adama Traore. Traore now left-footed in towards the area. Flick header comes in, and it goes over the top of the crossbar from João Palhinha, and that probably sums up his day since coming on as a sub.
Yeah, he's looked quite sort of angry and just not quite at the races today, João Palhinha. This ball coming in from the right-hand side, and what's ironic there is that Iwobi's in a much better position. If Palhinha leaves that, Iwobi could attack it.
Yeah, he could. I don't know whether there was a shout or anything from behind, but either way, Palhinha decided to go for the header, and it was way over the crossbar in the end. And Jose Sarr now seems to be back to full speed after that injury issue earlier. We've now had almost 94 minutes played, so 4 more minutes left of added on time. Jose Sarr clears this goal kick long downfield, heads towards Doherty on that far side as well to keep it in. Lemina tried to nutmeg on Adama Traore, who took it off his toes, and now Broha. Traore's gone on the overlap if you can find him. Broha keeps going towards the edge of the penalty area. He's got Iwobi on the overlapping run. Instead, Broha swings it in towards the area. Good header away from Nelson Semedo, and then further clear by Lemina. Make a point about Semedo in a moment or so's time, but Fulham still have possession on the right-hand side. Here's with Iwobi. Iwobi now cuts back on his left foot, then he's right again, one way and another, trying to take on Matt Doherty. Seems to be going nowhere. Eventually gets a cross in, headed away by João Gomes, and Fulham working hard to try and win it back. And Willian's shot is blocked, and here's a chance for Wolves on the break, potentially with Lemina. He's got a couple of gold jerseys up in support. What will he do now? Faced up by Adebayo, tries to thread the ball through towards the run of his teammate, and eventually it's won back as well for Wolves by Sarabia. And now, in no real hurry, they'll just keep possession between Sarabia and Doyle and run down the clock. I was going to make the point about Semedo. When I saw him originally arrive from Barcelona, he looked to me like a player who wasn't made for the Premier League. It was all about going forward. He obviously, as a full-back for Barcelona, you don't have to do much defending. It's literally going forward. But I have to say, I've been really impressed with him today. Not just today, but more recent times when I've seen him as well. He's really kind of taken on board what Gary O'Neill said and looks like a real Premier League player now.
He does, and so we'll just break off on that because here comes Wolves now with the ball into the penalty area.
Yeah, Lemina's got a chance, one-on-one. Oh, and he sent it wide. It was made difficult, a bit more difficult by Leno, who came out and made himself big. He tried to open up his body and try and find the far corner. But in the end, Lemina, it would have capped off what's been a brilliant display, but he couldn't find the target
today, and it's diplomatic from you there, Warren, because I think that although the keeper does come out to make it difficult, Lemina and the fact there are 3 other Wolves players around, that should be a goal for Wolves. It's as simple as that. And Gary O'Neill, he can't quite believe it either. But
probably should have gone with his left foot.
Yeah,
again, and that's been a theme of the day, hasn't it? Really,
players going with their wrong foot just to try and finish off the move. But here come Fulham now.
Traore, deep ball in towards the edge of the penalty area. Muniz tries to bring it down, but there's a foul there on Kilman, and it'll be a free kick on the edge of the box.
Just to finish that point on Semedo that you said, when you think that when he arrived, he was up against Matt Doherty, who was an established figure at Wolves. Doherty has since gone to Spurs, he's gone on loan elsewhere, he's come back, but in all that time, Semedo has still been the regular right back.
It has big goal in the game at Selhurst Park. 6 minutes into stoppage time, Corley Woodrow has equalised for Luton. Palace 1, Luton 1 is the latest score there. Still playing in the other games as well. He is. Still playing in all 3 of the 3 o'clock games in the Premier League with the massive amount of injury time we have these days, as the ball is with Sarabia down the left-hand side for Wolves. On towards Lemina, who'll feel he should have scored. Back it comes to Doyle. João Gomes, and again now Wolves just happy to keep possession and keep the ball away from
They'll be quite happy to roll the ball back now, and as long as Fulham can't dispossess them. You mentioned about all the injury time. I would like to see it perhaps trialled in the EFL Trophy, a stop clock, just to see how long a half would take if you don't have the clock running and then add 7 or 8, but actually stop the clock every time the ball goes out, and see if the players are even quicker at restarting them.
I suppose just the fans then know, don't they, when they see 45, it's going to be the end of the game, rather than it actually, it's now 97, are we going to have 98 or not?
And we know the ball's in play for about half an hour of that anyway.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. As Jose Sarr keeps possession, finds Bueno, and now the ball down the line from Ait-Nouri. Can't quite reach Semedo with it, but Fulham almost going through the motions a bit now because they know this game is done and dusted with 30 seconds of additional time still left to go. They're still playing at the Vitality Stadium and Selhurst Park, as the ball from Leno is long downfield. Flick on is by Muniz. Anthony Robinson latches onto it. Is there one more opportunity for Fulham with Willian? Plays it down the line towards Robinson. He's got acres of room. Pulls it back. Oh, it is flicked into the back of the net. Is it from Alex Iwobi? And the goal is given. It was fired towards goal. Iwobi stuck out a right boot. It's come out the offside at the outside of his right boot and flown over Jose Sarr. Wolves 2, Fulham 1.
So just as we tick past the 8th minute of injury time, it's actually a very clever finish that from Willian. How much he knows about it is another matter, but it's flicked towards goal by Breuer, and then it's just up in the air. Looks to me as though as he gets his foot to that, there's just enough of a pace on the initial contact there to get the ball away from the goalkeeper, and that may be nothing more than a consolation for Fulham now. As well, the referee is saying we're not restarting yet, so there's obviously something that VAR still wants to check.
Yeah, I wonder whether he might have been in an offside position. No, I think he's onside.
He's never offside.
No,
we can see it after one replay. I don't want VAR taking any longer than this.
No, it's definitely got to stand. It's like you say, Paul. It's a good finish from Iwobi because he's stretching. He's going in the opposite direction and he steers it back above Jose Sarr, and it will be a goal given to Fulham. It's confirmed. Have we got enough time to get underway and Fulham to potentially have another chance? We shall see. The referee starts us off and then Doyle hits it forward, and that is the end of the game. It didn't matter. A late goal for Fulham stopped Wolves from getting a clean sheet, but 2 goals in the second half from Rayan Ait-Nouri and a deflected Nelson Semedo goal means that Wolves pick up the victory. They have beaten Fulham by 2 goals to 1.